How you doing? And thanks for joining me. I just want to read you a letter that an email I sent to uh, Miss Gartner. Um, she's the professor who's talking about making smoking for a chemist. Yeah, you buy smoke from a chemist, or you got to have a medical certificate, all that kind of stuff. And this is going to be the commencement of, if they go to push this, of a campaign that I'm going to be right on and pushing. Um, Mainly because smoking's legal, so I don't think they should have any right to be telling us we can't smoke or we can smoke. And I'll read you this email and I'll let you know if we ever get a response from her in regards to this, and maybe some of the tobacco companies can pick it up and also finance some of the legal battle that might pursue if they try and push this. Okay, so this is what I've written to her. I'm taking the time to write you in relation to your smoking plan. I will be a very vocal objector to this plan of yours. I am a smoker. You made claims about the burden on the medical environment. However, it states that only 15% of us in Australia actually smoke. There's more important things you should be aware of other than smoking. Take, for example, the government document that states that the government is radiating the population so that in the future we can prepare for our future generations to do space travel. Now that document was about you mildly radiate a population, and then generation after generation they build up an immunity to radiation, and then we can commence long-term space travel. Take that into consideration when making your claims that smoking, the sicknesses she refers to, also symptoms of radiation. Radiation degenerates your body in numerous ways, a lot more than smoking ever will. Further to which, we are also poisoned by the water that the council puts into your water, chemicals that you put into your car, and a lot of chemicals aren't even named and listed, but there's probably somewhere around about 57 different chemicals that go into your glass of water every day, and 80% of them are not fit for human consumption. So, plus the abuse of sugar, which causes so many more issues. Okay, we all know that there's sugar issues with diabetes and the problems it causes, people getting limbs cut off, etc. There's also chemicals like peroxide in your drinks. That's only just recently been discovered in your power drinks. So whenever you drink like a power drink to give you energy, you're highly likely drinking peroxide. And I'm pretty sure on the bottle of the peroxide it does state, do not ingest this product, seek medical attention. Now do we need to get into the drug problem? We already pay the highest amount in the world for our cigarettes, and it's criminal. The government won't back her plan because of A, the huge backlash would be political suicide, and B, the $17 billion that cigarettes generate for our government, which this year by the look of it is going to be something like $21 billion, maybe $26 billion, because they just jacked the price up yet again. I wonder why they don't jack the price up on methamphetamines, crack, speed, marijuana. Why is it always the cigarettes that get jacked up? We'll get to that in a later campaign point. And the revenue loss will need to be replaced. It'd be political suicide. Already marijuana is cheaper to buy than tobacco. Not only that, if you keep jacking around with people's cigarettes, they're going to turn to the black market tobacco, and the tobacco companies, they'll just invest into black market tobacco because it's the only alternative if they go ahead with these sort of plans. It's what I do for pleasure. I won't live forever, but I also know a secret. Neither will she. In fact, neither will any of these people who are anti-smokers. You're all going to die. It's just a matter of time. You know, if you survive not getting hit by a car, bitten by a poisonous snake, trip over and hit your head. But if you do live to old age, I've got sad news for you. You're going to get old, you're going to have dysfunction, you're going to have motor skill dysfunction, you're going to have organ failure, you're going to have cancer, you're going to have everything a smoker's got, and no matter what you do, Your heart will stop from heart disease and you will die. That's a given. Maybe you'll get intestinal cancer from all the poisonous foods we're eating, but maybe you won't. Maybe you'll just have a heart attack and die on the street. Who knows? It's just a fact of life. You grow old, you get old, you die. That's it. Whether you smoked or not's irrelevant. There's ladies and gentlemen around the world live to 100 and something. They smoked all their life. They can't sit there and say that, it's not possible. Who cares, really, to be honest? Because I don't care if I smoke and die tomorrow. I've lived a long life, I've lived a hard life, and I don't really care. All I do is work and pay bills anyhow, so if I choose to smoke, I think it should be my business. I don't think these people, especially this lady, should be telling us, oh, now you need a prescription, then go to a chemist. Well, what the heck? I'll just buy black market tobacco. Grow a brain, It'll just be like every other drug on the market, methamphetamines, crack, ice, marijuana. Oh, let's just add cigarettes to the illegal ban. It doesn't stop people from doing it. It just means you got to go illegal to do it. Why not just leave it legal, drop the price on tobacco for starters, because it's way overpriced. Anyhow, getting back onto it. I informed her that I've been underestimated with my abilities before by ISS Security in Australia, and by the way, they're no longer working here. So I'm pretty sure that I've got the skills to rally a campaign and drive a campaign against this sort of movement. These people who worry about smokers, you shouldn't even leave your house. In fact, even in your house, you're being toxic. So it doesn't matter where you live, where you go, what you do, you're sucking up toxic fumes all day long. The cigarette is the least of your worries. So I told them that I'm going to start this video tonight and commence a campaign to start fighting for smokers, and eventually I'm hoping maybe some people will see this video and share it, and maybe we can start getting some sort of movement for smokers, because it's not an illegal drug. I don't drink much alcohol, maybe 1 or 2 beers a year, but people go out drinking all night, every night, and that does more damage than my cigarette does. So they get into fights, they get drunk, they fall over, they break their arm, they break their head. There's so much stuff that goes on when people drink too much, but there's nothing being said about that. They just worry about the smoker. It seems a bit odd, considering we're only 15%. Drinkers got to be like 96%. Is that not a risk? Is that not a challenge? Maybe they should have some more, maybe she should focus more on that, and even that's illegal. It's legal to do it, so it's a bit of a joke what they're saying. So I talked about, creating this movement and getting protests up and done about fighting for our legal rights. And I'm sure once we begin some sort of movement and some sort of challenge, that the tobacco company will certainly come along and support us, even if it means that the company might be able to assist us through a constitutional court to try and enforce our rights as smokers. We can smoke, there's no legal law against it. It's acceptable across the world. So I went on to tell her that I don't drink alcohol, I don't do drugs, I enjoy my smoke. It's the one thing I do that I like, and it's the one thing I like to do in this communist country that I'm proud to call home. Australia is no longer the free land. There's nothing you can do here that doesn't require a permit, so whether it be from the local council, federal government. Doesn't matter who you've got to pay. You've got to pay someone to do anything. So some people say it's socialism, but socialism, communism, it's all the same. We have to vote by law. That's not a choice. Anyway, that's an argument for another day. But my view is we're living in a communist state. They just pretend we're not. So so I'm urging this lady to take another task to deal. I said, deal with the drugs. There's more drug addicts than smokers, and they're cheaper to buy than smokes. Do something constructive. Deal with the drug problem, and you would actually be solving the rising crime rate, the mental health rising rate, the domestic violence rising rate, damage to children rising rate, the assaults on nurses and frontline services rising rates. Give the smokers a break. And now comes some questions. I've hit her up, and look, I'm not expecting a reply from this lady. I don't think she'll reply, but
Maybe she will, maybe she won't. I said, does the issue of smoking really outweigh the other issues we are dealing with today? Like every issue, all the stuff they're putting in our water, the food, the air we breathe, the pollutions. Is smoking really an issue? There's companies out there pumping out megatons of poisonous gas into the atmosphere. You're worried about a cigarette smoker, 15% of the Australian population? Oh, come on. It's not she's supposed to be a professor, come up with something better than attacking smokers. But by the looks of from her history, that she's got a real beef against smokers. So maybe she's an ex-smoker and she's just gone wayward. I don't know what it is, but she's got a real thing against smoking. So I've asked her, will you consider your efforts to remove what is legally allowed from honest, hard-working Australians? So just asking her to reconsider focusing on something that's got more benefits. She's talking about smoking having a weigh on the medical profession, but there's so many other things that have more of a weigh than a smoker. Like, I don't see waiting rooms of hospitals stacked up with smokers who are all dying from emphysema or heart conditions or whatever they're dying from. You walk in there, I see cuts and abrasions, I see domestic violence, I've seen drug-affected people coming in, alcohol-affected people coming in. I don't see a queue of smokers lined up in any hospital. I also asked her, how will you propose the loss of income to the Australian government to be replaced? So the $17.5 billion that we generate for the government as smokers, how is that going to be replaced? Because someone's going to have to make up that money. That's a lot of money to lose, all because you want to now make Australia smoke-free. You will never, ever make this country smoke-free. Ever. Not today, not in 50 years. Because if we can't buy them here, we'll just import them. You can buy a smoker's license. Seriously, they're about $235, to buy an import license. And okay, you can't sell them, but you're allowed to import them. There's no law against importing them. You can get a smoker's tobacco license and you can import cigarettes for yourself. No worries at all. It's actually legal to sell them if you have an importer's license. But you just get an importer's license and import your own cigarettes. There's no law against that. It's like everything else we sell here. Those reflective things for your number plate. It's not legal to buy them and bring them here and sell them. It's illegal for you to put them on your car. So the law is just about selling cigarettes. It's not about you having cigarettes, because they're not illegal. They're not a drug. They're not classified as an illicit drug. Will you ignore what I have expressed and choose to use your skills to a more pressing issue created by the drug epidemic, which causes so many people to be affected, to attack tobacco products that actually reduce our stress? We live in a very high-strung, stressful environment. Some people choose to drink, and they're the ones, smokers, I hate smokers, but they'll get drunk as a skunk and slur and pee themselves and whatever else they want to do, fall over and break a leg, fight with each other. Most people are nice drunks, but some people are just horrific drunks. So, if they're allowed to drink, we're allowed to smoke. That's just how it is, Who cares, Why has she got such an issue with smokers? I don't understand it. And finally, acknowledge that we as smokers know the effects, but given what I've outlined and knowing one day I will die, smoking or not, I will choose my own way of how I get there. And I think that's a fair call. It's my life. This is my body, my life. I'll do with it as I wish. If I want to break it, I will. If I want to live long, I will. If I want to live healthy and die healthy, I will. If I want to live alcoholic and die an alcoholic, I will. I don't hear it jumping up and down about alcoholics, drinking themselves to death. They get all the same problems that smokers get, probably worse. Still, nothing happens. And then I went on to inform her I'm starting my YouTube channel blog on this matter tonight. So this is the YouTube video that I'm posting up in relation to this, and I've said to her, I look forward to your response. So what we really need to do for responding to this lady's idea, because you've got to squash these ideas early, because otherwise She's already asking for government intervention to assist her to make Australia a smoke cigarette-free country, and that is just a load of crap. Why would we make it a cigarette-free country? At the end of the day, people have a right to smoke. It's not a legal drug. It's quite legal to have. It doesn't cause any harm. I don't see people lighting up a cigarette and then tripping over themselves and fighting with each other and swearing and domestic and all that kind of stuff. I've seen a lot of alcohol abuse stuff happen. I've never seen a cigarette abuse happen. But if ever you've seen a cigarette abuse happen, by all means, give me a flick in the message, And before the people say it, you hear it so many times that people go, "Oh, there's a bushfire and it's caused by someone flicking a cigarette." It's usually not a cigarette. A cigarette takes a very specific angle and a very specific day at a very specific temperature to crack a fire. It is usually carbon from the exhaust of a car that causes the fires on the sides of roads. So yes, I have seen a cigarette start a fire, but it takes those specific conditions, and you can check that out up on Google. It's a known fact. It's been studied by universities. They're the ones who come out with all the details on it. So, I can understand about the littering, but littering's littering. I don't throw my cigarette butts out. Actually, I don't have cigarette butts because I smoke rollies. But it doesn't matter whether it be, come down the road here from my house, you'll see McDonald's wrappers and Hungry Jack wrappers and cups and wax paper all up the side of the road. You can't rip it up a cigarette guy because he dropped his cigarette and not rip it up everybody else. Littering's littering. Don't litter. At the end of the day, whether you're a smoker or non-smoker, it doesn't matter what you are. How many beer bottles do you pick up in the bush when you go bushwalking? Or down by a river, or down by a creek, or out just anywhere? There's beer bottles everywhere you walk. There's megatons of them, because people just drink and then leave them there. So don't come at me with the littering of cigarettes or starting bushfires with cigarettes. This is about a right. You have a right to drink. We have a right to smoke. You have a right to be vegetarian. We have a right not to be. It's at the end of the day, it's a civil right. We have, under the Constitution, we have those rights. So why this lady is even jumping on it is beyond me. But like and share this video. Let's get some numbers up and see if we can find a tobacco company to back a cause to squash this idea before it even begins. You have a good night. Don't forget to like and share.